Alongside Matt Ray, I'm Austin Price as we break down Tennessee's recruiting weekend here on Rocky Top. And, we'll start with Moose Ludwig. I mean, Tennessee obviously did a nice job there. They've impressed the tight end from Montana. Tennessee also hosting Carson Snead, the Tennessee tight end commit this weekend. So both on campus. I think at this point, Tennessee would definitely take both. They have, the room, and, this is something where you look at, the tight end spot. Carson Snead's taking visits. So Tennessee's going to take some visits for some tight ends.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, when you look at it, Carson Snead's got 6 official visits lined up between mid-April through June, and obviously he's coming back here to Tennessee next week, and then supposed to be back here at the end of June. But if you're Tennessee, you have to recruit that position, and you get Moose Ludwig out here. You went and evaluated him back in the contact period.
Yeah.
It's a guy that if you're Alec Ablin, you've continued to keep communication with, and rightfully so. It's the name of the game today. And I agree also. I think Tennessee would take both, and I think Tennessee's continued to show well for Moose Ludwig this weekend.
Yeah, they have. He told me that, he had a great time. He's in the process of kind of filling it all out, but has a great relationship with Alec Ablin, has a great relationship with Josh Heupel, and just loved everything about Tennessee. It has a lot of similar properties to what he's used to with mountains and rivers and stuff, compared to maybe some other teams that are vying for his services. Then we look at Tommy Tofi, the offensive guard. Tennessee seems to have done really, really well there.
Yeah, I mean, he left this visit talking about Tennessee blowing him away. I asked about, what are the expectations when you come back for an official visit? He set that for the weekend of June 13th. And he said, really, she's just getting back out here and being around the brotherhood. Tennessee checked the boxes this weekend. He was really impressed with what he saw from Tennessee's offensive line, from inside to outside at the guard to tackle position. He's a bigger guy, so he can play either or in this offense. And he's a guy that I think was really impressed from the football side. And you can tell the football side's really important to him. The fundamentals and what he saw on the offensive line and connecting with some of those guys in that offensive line room, I think really did check some boxes for Tennessee this weekend.
Let's talk some in-state kids. Start with Craig Tutt. First time he's been up here since October. It's big for Tennessee to get him back because I think Tennessee will start to push hard there.
Yeah, I think for Craig Tutt, you're talking about a guy we've talked about Craig Tutt. We've talked about Craig Tutt. He's just not been on the road. But he's locked in an official visit now that he's been here this weekend. He was one of the last recruits on campus today. Spent a lot of time with Josh Heupel, a lot of time with Willie Martinez. And I think his relationship with those guys has continued to evolve. He's always had a strong relationship with Danny O'Rourke, Coach Chop, and he's around those guys again this weekend. But for Tennessee, you're going to have to watch out for Ole Miss and Michigan. But I think the Vols took a step in the right direction with Craig Tutt today. Obviously, just getting that official visit scheduled and continuing to get him to campus is going to be key in this recruitment.
Tennessee offered Franklin safety Luke Thompson today, and Luke's a guy who's his dad was a decathlete here in track and field at Tennessee, so there's a tie there to the university. Tennessee likes him. He's been offered as a receiver by some schools like Northwestern, but Tennessee I think likes him at safety, a kid that can really run.
Yeah, and I mean, when you look at this, we talked about this in the weekly recruiting 321. That board at defensive back is going to continue to expand going into the summer.
Zayden Anderson got the offer the other night. Now Luke Thompson.
Yeah, and you got a couple in-state kids there with ties that Tennessee is going to start to work, and you're going to hear those names pop up more frequently as that position continues to kind of evolve going into the summer.
Finally, as for Savion Hyder, the 5-star tailback, did not get a chance to catch up with him. He exited through the North studio. We were in the South studio. From all accounts, Tennessee's done well this weekend. Now, I think it still comes back down to official visits. He's going to officially visit Georgia. He's going to officially visit Ohio State. Going to officially visit Tennessee and Michigan. Those are those top teams. I think you can. I think he's inching towards having a better feel, but I don't think he truly knows yet. And it's going to boil down to the feel for the family, the feel for him, the ability to play early. And all those things, I think, will determine whether he ends up in the Big Ten or the SEC.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a guy that we've talked about for some time. It's always felt like it was probably going to come down to official visits. You do see those guys get trigger happy at times and do something early like Tristan Keys did with LSU. But I think for Savion Hyder, he's maintained for the duration of time that I've been talking to him that this is how his process was going to play out. He was going to get it narrowed down coming out of the winter. He was going to take official visits, and he was going to hit all the fine details of those finalists so he makes the right decision and everything that you said, fit from the family, football, everything that lines up. And I think, Tennessee's going to continue to be right there in that mix until the end.
He is Matt Ray. I'm Austin Price. Let's look at recruiting as we get 1 week to go to the Orange and White game. More recruits expected to be in next weekend.